Got my legal hustle, welcome to the trap. I can blow a stack, bet I make it back. You can hit my line if you need a track. But we can't even talk if it ain't about the bag.
What's going on, y'all? It's the kid J Nolan here. Now this video is very long overdue, and I want to give a shout out to the homie Talent Bender for basically sending me a DM like, yo, have you ever talked about Epidemic Sound before now? I don't think you have, so I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna talk about some of the pros and cons. We're gonna go over whether or not I believe that indie artists should be using them. I think the perspective is a little bit different for producers and artists, but I'm gonna get into all that momentarily. All right, so the first thing you want to go over is what exactly is Epidemic Sound. Now I talk about sync licensing and getting your music in TV, films, video games, advertisements, all of those types of things, YouTube videos, game streaming channels. Epidemic Sound is one of the platforms that allow you to get into all of those things. And when you put sync licensing or music licensing on Google, Epidemic Sound is typically one of the first results that's gonna come up. Or if you ever go into like a search for stock sounds and stuff like that, you're gonna get Epidemic Sound. They come up, they do a lot of advertising for their companies to make sure that they're coming up in those first few results. So let's go on the Epidemic Sound website and talk about what we see there and what I think is relevant to all of the creatives out there. All right, so I'm on epidemicsound.com/campaign/artist. This is where you would typically sign up as an artist or a creator with Epidemic Sound. The first thing you see is let's soundtrack the world together. Epidemic Sound is an accelerator for artists and music creators who want to make a living, build an audience, and thrive through music. And they have the submit your music button. So if you didn't want to go into none of the questions you may have or anything like that, you could just jump in, submit your music, and then find out later. However, let's do some scrolling. So they're going to show you different artists, producers, etc. that are using the platform. Shout out to Sarah, the instrumentalist. Got a lot of respect for her and her craft. They say our ecosystem, get heard, get paid, and grow. Epidemic Sound's ecosystem lets you thrive creatively and commercially. All our music flows freely between you and the world's biggest storytellers, brands, and music streaming services, right? Get heard. Our music catalog is used by leading content creators, broadcasters, ad agencies, and world-renowned brands to take their productions to the next level. Our network of storytellers opens up your music to audiences of millions, and they're not lying when they say this. All right, their music gets 1.5 billion views a day on YouTube. So that's how many views collectively are being administered through Epidemic Sound's sound catalog, right? Hundreds of millions of streams per month. Cool. Now here's the real part. Get paid. We offer short, flexible, non-exclusive agreements with competitive upfront payments for your tracks. So of course that's going to be appealing. Everybody wants to get paid up front. Our music gets over 100 million streams every month thanks to the reach of our storytellers channels, and we split all royalties with you 50-50, even if you're no longer working with the Epidemic Sound. So even if you leave and you leave your music there, because I think they're going to keep it for a certain period of time, you're going to continue to get paid 50-50 from all the sync fees, right? And a sync fee is, say an advertiser or a company comes and they say, oh, we love this song. The price is going to be dependent on the type of usage. What a YouTube creator pays to use your song is going to be different from an advertisement. It's going to be different from a TV show or a movie, right? Or a short film created by a local filmmaker. All of those things have different prices. But no matter what that price is, you're going to split 50-50 with Epidemic Sound. So that is a positive. Also get a share of our $2 million yearly soundtrack bonus proportional to the performance of your tracks in our players. So this here is a bonus. This is not guaranteed, right? Just like at your job, a bonus is not guaranteed, but it's lovely if it comes. So every year they divvy out $2 million worth of bonuses to the creators. Now, the people who are getting the most activity, the most plays, the most uses, those are going to be the ones that get the biggest bulk of that share. The smaller creators are going to get a much smaller share. Grow. We work closely with our network of talented artists and music creators to nourish creativity and help you grow. From first demo to final mix, you'll collaborate closely with our team of songwriters, producers, and sound engineers to produce world-class tracks, develop your album artwork, and film your music videos with our experts. This is sounding like they're starting to develop somewhat of a label or a publishing house, more so than how they used to do things, which was just housing records, putting them up. People could choose from them. They're into producing videos, doing album artwork, helping you mix and master your records. Like, that gives them a lot of leeway because a lot of these different companies aren't going to do that for you. Collaborate and create. We commission new original music from our roster of music creators, supplying guidance on what kind of tracks suit our clients and listener needs. You define the feel, character, and details of your music. Track quantity is flexible so you can work at your own pace, right? So they're going to be working with you every step of the way. If you don't have the capacity to create a huge workload, they're going to work with you. If you're somebody that's really prolific in what you do and you're able to create at a fast pace at a high clip, then you're going to excel as well. Now, here's the part that's extremely crucial to anyone that cares about getting paid, especially royalties, right? Because that's the lifeblood of a lot of people. Having publishing royalties, songwriter royalties coming in over time to where if your music gets played in one place, you're supposed to get paid every time that gets played. So if it gets played on ESPN highlights and they play Sports Center 8 times in the next 15 hours, you're supposed to get a cut each time that scene shows with your music playing. So let's see what their stance is on that. Who you are. No matter your background or experience, we're always curious to hear new music. We look for independent and enterprising music creators who relish feedback, desire development, and thrive when working toward a common goal. Excellent. That sounds good. Currently, we partner with artists and music creators who are citizens or residents of the US and Sweden, so that counts out a lot of people off top, and also unaffiliated or willing to opt out of PROs, NROs, and collecting societies. This is where I start to get mad. This is where I get frustrated, and I don't understand how this works for anybody, right? Now, it's one thing if you're not affiliated with a PRO. Anybody who's worth a grain of salt in the music industry is going to tell you that's one of the first things you need to do, period, is get signed up on a PRO so that when you put your music out there, you can start registering it and getting collections on your own behalf as a songwriter, as a publisher, as a mechanical royalty payment. All of that stuff is very important. If they're telling you to not be affiliated or even opt out of your PROs, clearly they're trying to cut off those residual payments. Now they say read more in the FAQ section. So let's try to get a further explanation on why this is. Why does Epidemic Sound ask me to leave my PRO, NRO, or collecting society? They say, our ecosystem is based on our music being able to flow freely to all our customers. How would that prohibit you from flowing freely? We have made this possible through our unique digital rights model, which is based on the premise of us being the sole owner of the financial rights to our music. If you're the sole owner of the financial rights to the music, then how are you saying this is a non-exclusive agreement? Seems like y'all are contradicting yourselves here. This wouldn't be possible if an artist or a music creator were affiliated with the collecting society due to their exclusive affiliation agreements. We hope that this will change in the future. That's straight, y'all know my favorite word, that's BS, man. Number one, when you sign up with BMI or ASCAP, yes, you are exclusive in the fact that you can't have two of the same accounts on both, right? So if you sign up as a songwriter with BMI, they advise you not to go to ASCAP and sign up as a songwriter and try to register the same songs. You can have both, but you can't collect for the same content with both of those PROs. Same thing as a publisher. Now, nowhere in the details have I described Epidemic Sound as a publisher, right? They didn't say they're a publisher. I deduced based on their information that they're moving like a publisher, but they haven't stated that in any of the text here. So why would you say that due to the PRO's exclusive contracts, you can't have a collection society? Because if I send my track over to Epidemic Sound and they get it placed somewhere, you got damn right I'm gonna register it with my PRO because I want to collect residual payments. That is one of the main reasons that people get into sync. It's not just to get upfront payments, but you want to get paid over time. You only get publishing checks 4 times a year, and you want to maximize those checks as much as possible. They really don't have a good explanation for this. It's extremely vague. It's about 2 sentences long. It's not enough to appease anybody that knows anything. Now, I'm not saying that the artists and the writers and the producers on Epidemic Sound don't know anything. For some people, it may be worth the risk to just take upfront payments and not worry about the back end. Me personally, I enjoy getting upfront payments. I also enjoy getting paid on the back end. So I would like to get both if possible. Am I allowed to create music outside of Epidemic Sound during our partnership? Yes. We want artists and music creators to thrive through music. Therefore, we offer non-exclusive and flexible agreements, enabling you to keep your freedom and write music outside of Epidemic Sound, as long as you're not affiliated with any PRO, NRO, or collecting society. You see how that keeps coming up? That's a big question for me, man. I don't like that. So they say their agreement is non-exclusive, but I'm going to break this down for y'all in simplest terms so that you walk away from this knowing exactly what you're getting into. I'm not telling anyone not to work with Epidemic Sound. A non-exclusive agreement with a company like an Epidemic Sound or any sync agency out there is going to give them the ability to pitch your music to the music supervisors and the opportunities for potential placements. Now, typically in a non-exclusive agreement, that means that they don't assume any ownership over your music. They're just getting the license to work on behalf of the music. An exclusivity situation would mean that once you sign on with the company, you can't work with anyone else. So they're saying that you can still go out and work with other companies and do whatever you want. However, that piece where they said they need to be the exclusive owner of the music basically means any songs that you put in the Epidemic Sound catalog, they are the only company that can hold on to it. So if you have a catalog of 5 songs that you have on your hard drive that are unreleased, because they would have to be unreleased, you send it over to Epidemic Sound. They say, oh, these 5 songs are great. We're going to add it to the repertoire. At that moment, from the time that you sign a contract or an agreement with them, you cannot shop that record anywhere else. You can't release that record anywhere else. Everything is going to be on Epidemic Sound. If they can get it placed, great. If they don't, you wasted 5 songs. If they happen to put it out through their systems, great. But if they don't, again, you wasted 5 songs. So this is stuff that you want to be informed about. Again, I'm not saying that they're a bad company. I have some things that I disagree with as far as how they do things. But on the flip side, if you're somebody that has a hard drive full of records, let's say you're an artist who you got a really dope home studio and you're creating music and you have 200 songs that you created in the last 2 years that ain't doing nothing. You have all of the publishing agreements. You have all of the everything intact. Your beats aren't from BeatStars. You're working directly with producers. You have agreements on hand, producer agreements that understand what you're trying to do with the music. All you got to do is sign it over to Epidemic Sound. You could run up a check with them potentially. I'm not saying that you won't. Same thing for a producer. If you have a bunch of tracks that you don't intend on putting out anyway, then this could be the move for you. But if you're trying to also market that same song, if it's a single or if it's an album that you're interested in putting out on your own and you want to see if you can get other companies to represent those songs so that you can help get placements and help you promote music on your project, this isn't going to be the place for you. So in weighing the pros and cons, you got to see what works best for you. You can't just listen to me. I'm just breaking down what the terms are. You have to make the decision that's going to fit your business model the best. Me personally, I might not work with an Epidemic Sound. They may not even like my music for all I know, but I'm just letting y'all know my perspective of the situation. Why do I care so much about the PROs? Because I've had situations where I may have gotten $1,000 or $500 or split $2,000 with my producer on upfront fees, right? But then when the royalties come out for the same placement, you may get another $500, another $800, $1,200 on the back end. And you can get that as many times as channels are still playing your music. I've had placements that paid out for 3 to 4 years at a time, you know what I'm saying? Where it was pretty decent money over the course of 3 to 4 years. But if you go through Epidemic Sound, all the money that you're ever going to get off your song is from the upfront payment. You're going to split that in half because they take 50%. Then you got to split the other 50% with your co-writers if you want to work ethically, right? And you're never going to see any more money off of it. And it may end up being on Power. It could end up being on CBS. It might be featured on NFL Network. You just never know where that song is going to be. And you're going to be like, oh man, I can't wait to see what my publishing check look like from that. And you ain't never going to get one. And that's why I'm honing in so hard on that particular subject. If you got any other questions about Epidemic Sound or what these policies mean, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If you need direct help in understanding what all of this stuff means, you can book a consultation with me on realjnolan.com. Currently, I charge 30 an hour. In 2023, I will be charging 50 an hour. And in 2023, I'm also going to be releasing a course for y'all to just have on-demand videos at your disposal, going a little bit more in-depth than my typical YouTube videos. That's going to be available for you also next year, so stay tuned for that. I'll be making an announcement very soon. I'll see you guys on the next video. Much love and respect, y'all. Stay safe, all right? Peace.